What I love about the Shinto saw rasp, it's really basic. If I had to have one power tool, within reason, number one, countersinks. And this is actually my number one tool for things I wish I had sooner. Because I was using one little tiny countersink that was in a hammer tool case, so I had to go in the hammer tool case and get it out, and I never left it out because I didn't want to lose it because it wasn't mine. Getting my own set of different sizes, and these ones can actually cut steel. They're meant for it, and they do it, and they are not dull yet after I don't know how many months of using them. I have no idea what brand they are, so I can't give you that. Irwin, there you go. It makes your holes just look so clean when you put a screw in there. It makes things not split if you drill a hole. When I do deck screws on the end of a 2x4, I drill a hole and I countersink them because I just got tired of seeing things splitting. Like less than 20 bucks for 5 of them. Just do it. The second thing that probably honestly should have gone on the first spot is a Japanese saw of any sort. This one's like 20 bucks, something like that for the blade, and I make the handles for them because I'm a woodworker, so you know, why not? Having something you can just whip through a dowel or something or a little piece of wood without having to fire up a miter saw, super nice. It kind of requires a vise to make it easier, but you can also do it without a vise because if you have, you know, any skill, you could do that. Can't live without them now. It's just like second nature to use Japanese saw. Third tool is very boring. Just about everybody that has a workbench with holes in it has a holdfast because it makes a whole lot of sense to have them because you don't have to clamp things, especially if you're a thick bench or if you're going to clamp things in the middle of your bench. You cannot beat a holdfast. Everybody should have one. If you don't already have a bench with holes in it and holdfast, drill some holes in your workbench and get holdfast or make them. I made these ones so they were free to me besides labor and time, which is also important. A lot of people told me they look the wrong shape, but they still work, so there. Okay, number 4. I hope we're on number 4. Calipers. Get yourself a pair of calipers. This is like the most basic tool in machining and any kind of steel work. Usually everybody has calipers. These are from Johnson, or SC Johnson, I guess, right? No, it's just Johnson. 30 bucks, I think, dropped them a million times, and they still can stay accurate. The handy little 0 button is right there. So I don't think they're waterproof or anything, but I'm also not going diving with them, so it doesn't really matter that they're not waterproof. The thing I love about calipers is they're accurate, but it is a little bit more difficult to actually read. Like, okay, 0.4375. What exactly is that? Then you go into fractions, and you get fractions you've never heard of. Okay, 7/16. That's pretty simple. 49 128. What exactly is 49 128? Okay, it's 0.3835. Slightly over 3/8 of an inch. You gotta learn your decimals really well. Inside, outside, and depth. It's just amazing. Now the Shinto saw rasp, and this one does not have a handle on it. It's supposed to have a handle on both ends actually. It's what it was designed for. This one I took the handle off of that I made because I didn't like it. So I always used it with no handle, and I've actually never gotten hurt with it and never gotten cut with it, which is probably the first concern people have is you're holding on to a saw, right? Like you're gonna get cut. I never have, probably will now, but never have. What I love about the Shinto saw rasp is it was only $18, so I love cheap things, that's for one. But the other thing is, you can cut glue off the surface of a board on a joint, and it will not cut the wood very much at all. Very lightly it will. If you use the rough side, obviously it's gonna cut more roughly, on the smooth side more smoothly, but it doesn't really damage it, and it'll take the glue off without dipping into the sides. Like if you just use an orbital sander or something like that, or even just sandpaper, unless you scrape that glue off first, it's not gonna work. It's also amazing for shaping. I mean, I've shaped a million handles with this thing. You just need to take a corner off real quick. This thing is gold. Cannot remember the brand. I would put a link, but I honestly don't know the brand. So that was number 5. I totally forgot to put the numbers in. But the fifth, the sixth one, 2, 3, 4. It's really basic. Everybody should have a string level. You probably already own a string level. We did not have a string level for a very long time. And I just remembered another one I need to do actually. So there's gonna be 7 tools in here. Originally 5. I don't know what I put on the thumbnail. It's so useful when you're doing big stuff because I've tried to level so many things that are long, like a whole building maybe, and you put a level on it like this, and you can get a roughly accurate measurement on how level it is versus you to put a 6 or 8 foot level on it. It's not gonna be right. I think this is probably actually more accurate even than one of those big extendable stiff ones. And also, even if you're leveling very small things, you can sit this on there because it's got little feet, and you can level things like that. So that's pretty handy. I kind of like that. Also, Johnson, I believe, from Lowe's, $5. I don't need to put a link. Just go to Lowe's. Next thing is a chalk line. This is number 7 on the list, I believe. And a chalk line is another tool that we did not have for a very long time. And then I actually found one that we had that we didn't know we had. And then we bought this one anyway. So 2 chalk lines now. Super handy having 2 actually, because I have a nail on the end of one. And when you have a nail tied to the end of the string, you could tap that nail on any stud or something you don't care about as much, and then run your line, which is really handy because it doesn't fall off like this clip does. Chalk lines, I mean, everybody's used a chalk line, right? If you're doing any kind of larger construction, It's super nice to be able to run a line that you know is straight within reason. We did 50-something foot chalk line onto the top of this roof when we put the ridge cap on, and it stayed within, you know, quarter inches straight, which is pretty good over 50 feet. Get yourself a chalk line if you don't have one. This one's from Irwin. I think it costs like 10 bucks. It's just really, really, really nice if you need to lay out anything straight. Useful for a lot of things in construction and even in a little bit of woodworking.
Bonus round number 1.
Really, okay, actually, it fixes the lighting when I walk up. I don't know how that works, but this camera's amazing. Nikon Z30. Hey, Nikon, I'll talk about you. This is a rigid 13-inch planer. I'm not in love with this planer. It is a very, small planer, really. The motor's not big enough to really do a lot of big stuff. You can't cut very much material.
But it is a planer.
And I kind of wish I had one sooner, even though I got this one a few years ago. I've been using it. I didn't buy it. Dad bought it.
Clarify that.
It's good enough. It cuts, and getting something that's 12 to 13 inches wide, you can't do 13, but phew, you're not cutting very much, that's for sure. It is something that's that wide, actually flat and parallel with itself. It's game changer for me. I would really like to get a larger one, but this one's a very good one, and I do kind of wish I had it sooner than I did.
Bonus round 2.
This belt sander should probably actually be in the rail list because it's like one of my top tools. If I had to have one power tool, it would be this thing, believe it or not, because this thing is the most irreplaceable thing that I have. Partially because you can't buy them anymore. Like, I've seen one on the market in New Jersey, and I'm not in New Jersey. 200 bucks when you can find one, but you just can't find them anymore. This is a old Craftsman 6x48 belt sander.
Amazing for woodworking.
I've used it a bunch for knife making. It's not as great for that. I want to build a 2x72, which is really exciting. But anyway, if you do not have a belt sander, you're missing out. If you don't have a 6x48, you're still missing out.
Bonus round 3.
And of course, the radial arm saw had to be on the list. This thing is amazing for breaking down large boards that are too wide to cut, or too long to cut with your table saw and too wide to cut with the miter saw. That's where this thing comes in. It does not cut square. The nature of the design makes it to where you can get a square maybe once, but it's not going to be square after that. Rough when you're going to cross cut it later with the table saw, because the table saw with an Incra crosscut sled, or any other crosscut sled as long as it's accurate, just makes life a lot easier. So I love this thing because I rehabbed the whole thing, and if you watch that video, it's really cool. I like it. Very, very practical to cut a up to 12-inch wide piece of wood, or actually more than that, like 14 inches wide, in one swipe. That's pretty handy. Definitely faster, and I can lay my boards on my big old bench and lay the dogs out. It's really, really handy for that. Honorable mention for the radial arm saw. And if we're talking about honorable mentions, my Craftsman Direct Drive 12-inch table saw probably deserves to be on the list, because this thing, okay, before we have the Shotsmith, everybody loves the Shotsmith, right? No, nobody loves the Shotsmith. Okay, some people love the Shotsmith. I do not love the Shotsmith. I am okay with it as the lathe and pretty much nothing else. The table saw stank in every way possible. This table saw is really, really nice. It's also very, very powerful. It just cuts, and it's bigger blade, so more teeth, the same clean cut, so it's just better in it, like every way, except for dust collection. Still don't know why that ladder's there. I'm gonna go this way. This is my list for 5 tools, 7, 9, 10 tools I wish I had sooner. I did not buy some of them. Actually, most of these ones I did buy. I bought the calipers, I know that. I made the holdfast. I bought the countersink, I bought the table saw, I bought the radial arm saw. So I bought most of these tools I bought. Some of them Dad bought. Anyway, this list is not comprehensive. You know, it's not every tool that I wish I had sooner even. And it's not every tool that you should have, obviously. I think that's clear. But I would like to make a list of 5 tools you should have as a beginner woodworker and where you should get them from. Obviously, if you can get it used, that's gonna be a lot cheaper. Not necessarily better. If you like fixing tools, then used is definitely the way to go. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, because it would really help me out, because I'm trying to, actually make money now. And full disclaimer, I am making money now, so when you watch this video, you're actually giving me money. So isn't that nice? It doesn't cost you anything, but when you watch ads on this video, I am making money. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to watch more of my videos to give me even more money, and I will see you in the next one. Bonus content for people that stuck around for that long pause. I have a list in my pocket of tools that I wish I had bought. This is the malcontent version of tools I wish I bought sooner. And the first thing on the list is a Osmo 3043 wood finish. I saw it on Blacktail Studio. I like Blacktail Studio. Did it on a redwood slab, and it looked absolutely stunning with that wood. I've never seen such depth and richness in wood like that. It's incredible. One finish I would like to have that I do not have. Flush cut bits. I have one flush cut bit. It's a straight cutter carbide. I would really, really like to have some other ones because I have used it in these ways that these woodworkers are doing it now, and it's so, I love it. It's really, really, really cool what they're doing. Blade cleaner. Okay, this is one I saw in the Spenceley Wood. I think it was, is it Wood? Spenceley something. Probably put his name right here at the bottom. Anyway, he had this big tub from Micro Tools, I believe it was, and it's a big tub that you put cleaner in, and you can clean your blades in. It's got like a giant Scotch-Brite in the bottom, so you can clean, like I got some dirty blades back there and stuff. That could be cleaned, and they probably work a lot better because that friction that the sap and the dust causes makes them cut way worse, even if they're not necessarily dull. Maybe I will buy these things and then I'll talk about them and actually do reviews. Track saw. Who doesn't want to have a track saw? I don't have a track saw. I have a circular saw that I can't even put next to a guide because it's not aligned anymore. Only a small part of me wants to have one, actually. Most of me is like,
I don't need a track saw, because I can just do it with a circular saw.
and I can also just do it with a table saw, so I don't need a track saw. But some of me also really wants a track saw because I can make accurate cuts on plywood and stuff. Theoretically. And a Pika dry pencil. And the guy from Spenceley said,
If you've been on YouTube, you've seen this pencil.
I've never seen this pencil before in my life. It looked really cool. It's actually much, much thicker lead. You can get them in all different colors, so you can get like white if you're working with walnut and mahogany and those dark woods like that. Really cool idea. Anyway, that's my malcontent list of things I wish I had that I didn't. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, for real this time.